Hello wild ones, it's Cypris and welcome back. For those of you just tuning in, the refrigerator is gonna make a bunch of noise. How long are you gonna run? Alright, let's try this again. Now that I've unplugged the fridge because it would not stop running and making noise, and it's right there, which means I gotta remember to plug it back in or I'm gonna have a lot of rotten fruit and stuff on my hands. Welcome back, and for those of you just tuning in, welcome to the wild. Today we're going to talk about Earthborn holistic pet food, specifically the cat food, because I haven't tried the dog food. That didn't sound right. I haven't tried the cat food either, personally. The cats have. I am running this review based on their reaction to the food, not my own. I think y'all know what I meant, right? So the first question, I think, for me, when I switched to a healthier cat food, the primary thing for me was, why do I want to feed them expensive food? Not that this is really high priced. I would call this a mid-range price for cat food, but money is an issue. So why go with special food that you have to go to specific stores to find, rather than just find, say, Purina or Science Diet at the grocery store and save a few bucks? You know, what is the real impetus for shelling out that extra money when it's so precious? Well, for me, it comes down to ingredients. Earthborn Holistic Feline Vantage. This is the cat food that does have grain in it, and all of their other varieties of cat food do not have grain. This other one is primitive, which has no grain in it. So even in their grain-in variety, here's the first few ingredients. Chicken meal, ground brown rice. Notice that's not corn or wheat, it's rice. Hey, you're wanting me to get into this for you, aren't you? Give me a few minutes and we'll get you fed, okay? Actually, more than a few minutes. It's not food time for you guys yet. So, chicken meal, ground brown rice, pea protein. Peas are supposed to be really digestible for cats, and they have a lot of healthy carbohydrates and vitamins in them. Oatmeal, dried egg product, pea fiber, chicken fat, herring, ground barley, flaxseed, tomato, salmon, whitefish, blueberries, cranberry. Like, I'm getting hungry reading these ingredients. And there's a bunch of smalls in here too, preservatives and other sort of nutritional needs that the cats have because they're not eating wild food. And then on the grain-free, it's even better. Turkey meal, chicken meal, pea protein, chicken fat, peas, potatoes, dried egg product, herring meal, salmon meal, ground flaxseed, pea fiber, natural flavor, sweet potatoes, whitefish, blueberries, cranberry, it goes on and on and on. This is stuff that the cats can and should be eating for the most part. A lot fewer of the ingredients that aren't necessarily going to possibly agree with them with grocery store, even Science Diet, right? It sounds so healthy, but It's the equivalent of you eating McDonald's every day. It's just not healthy. Got all kinds of things in it that they're processed funny, and I don't know a lot about the science of how it works, but I have come to understand that the ingredients in cat food are super important because, one, cats don't deal with all of the like corn and wheat products that our bodies deal with a whole heck of a lot better than theirs do. One of the other big considerations is ash content. The cheaper the food, generally speaking, the higher the ash content. And I don't know how they're measuring that, if it's the meat gets charred as they process it or what the whole process is. But ash content is really significant, especially if you have male cats, because it really influences urinary tract infections. And in the past, I have had serious issues with cats with urinary tract infections, really, really bad stories. And it's horrible to put them through that when really, if you feed them a healthier diet that's not causing them internal inflammation, that's not got a lot of ash in it, they're much more likely to have a healthy life. So for me, I just decided to bite the bullet and feed them real food. I don't feed myself fast food all the time. I'm not going to subject my cats to food that's going to shorten their lifespan. I want to keep them around. Now, why Earthborn specifically? So let's get into that. I am not necessarily religiously devoted to this particular brand. It's a very good brand. It's very high quality, healthy food. I am sure there are actually others out there that are even better. This ticks all the boxes I need right now, but I admit if I had a more lenient budget, I would probably go out and find something that was organic, and I would probably experiment upwards. But money is an issue, and these are relatively inexpensive for healthy cat foods. The Grain In, the one that has the brown rice in it, last week was able to get this for $28.99 on Amazon. And this one, the grain free, I got for $35.02. And these are they 28-pound bags? No, I'm wrong. 14. I can tell how heavy things are. These are each 14-pound bags. So definitely more expensive than something that is made by Purina, but way healthier for them. And I can sleep at night knowing that my cats aren't going to get sick and die on me before their time. So, well, we hope anyway, you never know. So this gives me a lot of peace of mind, and I don't feel guilty when I'm eating my organic salad and they're munching down. Hello, what are you doing? Somebody's got me in the sheets. So why Earthborn? Actually, I started out with something different with these guys when I brought them home. I can't remember what it was called. It was the most inexpensive healthy cat food that I could find at the time, and I don't remember why I eventually switched, if they went out of business, but after a year or two I switched to Dr. Gary's, and Dr. Gary's is a really good pet food brand as well. It's pretty healthy. But about a year ago, Jezebel here, you can't see her, but she's right here. She likes to shadow me. She is a little camera shy, but she does like to stay close. Anyway, she developed what eventually turned into a really serious allergy to something in the food, which is not that there's anything unhealthy about Dr. Gary's, it's just her body didn't agree with something, and so she was losing a lot of hair because she was itching, and so she was licking and licking and licking and going kind of bald in some places. This was a period of time where my mother was actually doing a lot of watching of my cats for me because I had a lot of things going on, and bless her heart, she went to the pet food shop and said, hey, you know, what can I feed this cat to help her? And there just happened to be a veterinarian there, like small miracles, right? There just happened to be a veterinarian there, and he, or she, I think it was a she recommended this. The vet told my mother that Earthborn was really good for cats that have allergy sensitivities to food because the ingredients are so fresh and so picked with animal health in mind. The cats took right to it, absolutely loved it. What she picked up was the stuff with the grain in it. Eventually I wanted to switch to the stuff that is grain-free. We'll talk about that in a minute because there's a little bit of a story there. Why do I have both packages here, right? Which one am I using? We'll talk about that. But there's some other things that this company is doing. Aside from having really healthy cat food, a really healthy set of ingredients, they use really fresh ingredients, and the manufacturing, it's made in the US, if that matters to you. The manufacturing plant that they have is run with human grade standards. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I'm assuming it means that the cleaning standards for the food processing, they run at the human standards for human food rather than, but I actually don't know. I don't know what that term means, but I do know that they're taking things up to the next level where they don't necessarily legally have to. So they're really concerned about health. They've never had a recall, at least as far as the last time the website was updated. Really reliable, healthy product. Also, they use, natural gas to fuel rather than fossil fuels, so that's environmentally friendly. They also have these bags that the food comes in are recyclable, which is very important. And one of the features that I like, it's a small thing, but these bags are resealable. This one, it's like a Velcro type closure that runs across the middle, and then this one has the zipper type reclosure, like on a Ziploc. And that's really useful to me because I don't have anything to really store these in that's big enough at the current time. So resealable is really, really helpful. The other thing about this product is that they make sure that the taste is good. They advertise it as being a natural flavor. I'm not entirely sure what that means when we're talking about pet food production, but I can tell you my cats love it. They absolutely took right to it. When my mother switched them, she switched them the right way. You know, you one little bit at a time. That you mix the old and the new, right? Like I'm not saying they had to switch cold turkey, but Jasper would have. He would have just been like, yes, bring it. He loves new food. So here's the thing. I did at one point needed to resupply, and the only thing available in stock at the moment was the grain-free. And I was like, you know what? It's better for them. Let's go with the grain-free. It's a few dollars more. All right, whatever. But I got it home, and little Miss Thing over here, Jezebel, absolutely turned her nose up at it. She is not a fan of the grain-free. She actually prefers the stuff with the grain in it. She's super finicky. So I ended up having to make a compromise where I mix the two foods, and I can get her to eat the healthier stuff if it's mixed with the grain in. So I just go ahead and mix it half and half, and I just keep remixing it. This is what it looks like. This is pretty normal cat food, right? I don't know if it's camera's picking it up, but the grain-free is the darker pellets and the grain-in is the lighter pellets. So you can see that it really does look tastier, the stuff without the rice in it, at least I think from a cat's perspective. Oh, you guys are getting excited. You think I'm gonna feed you? It's gonna be a minute. That's my solution, is just to mix them. I know there's a discussion out there about wet cat food, and a lot of people feel like cats should be getting wet food on a regular basis because I think there's something about the processing of it that's a little bit more nutritionally sound. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really educated about that specifically yet. But also the moisture content of wet food is really advantageous because cats in the wild get all of their, well, not all of, but most of their moisture from the food that they eat. So when they're eating dry food, a lot of times cats can have digestive problems and they can get dehydrated. So if you've got a food bolter, you know, they eat the food really, really fast, the digestive juices work into it really slowly, so they eat more than they need and it expands in their stomach, and that's why cats will throw up after they eat, because they eat more than they can handle once it starts absorbing and it starts swelling in their stomach. So there are reasons to at least do partially soft food, wet food as they call it. I'm not there yet. It's expensive and I am totally on a budget. The other thing is I think if I was going to make the commitment to switch over to at least partial wet food, I would really want to learn about how to make it myself, how to get, you know, the whole chicken and the whole fish and grind it up in a processor and put in the extra stuff that they need nutritionally. And that's a whole lot of work. And I would need a freezer in my garage, and I would need a generator, a backup generator, because I wouldn't want to like have a power outage and it all go bad. So I'm just not at that place yet. That is something I'm aware of and something I'm working toward. But for now, I justify feeding my cats just the dry food because these guys actually are super good about drinking water. They definitely keep themselves hydrated. I'm really lucky that way. I don't know what it is, but they're really good water drinkers. They drink their water out of the bowl. They will insist. They will tell me when they want it switched out fresh because it's getting a little stale. They have a water fountain that they really like to drink the water while it's moving. That's a really great tip to get cats to drink water. They like the waterfall thing. Also, tub water. I don't know why. That is their absolute favorite. They will sit in the tub and yell at me until I put some water in the bottom of the tub for them. And they've done that ever since they were 8.5 weeks old. It's just, that's what they want. They want water in the tub. And they'll demand it from the sink too, but really what they prefer is to drink water out of the tub. I don't know if it's because it feels like they're savanna cats and they're getting water like out of a river or something, but that's their personal preference. But like I said, they stay hydrated well enough that I'm not super worried about the fact that I'm feeding them dry food for the foreseeable soon future, short-term future. At some point when I have finances again, you know, maybe I'll look into pampering them a little more and finding something for them that's organic, but for now I'm super happy with this. I'm also really hesitant to switch now that I found this because little Miss Picky is really hesitant to eat a variety of different foods. It's hard to find something that, even cat food, that she will like. She won't eat shrimp. There are human foods that cats love. She won't touch. She won't touch ice cream, milk. The only things that she likes that are human food, there's 3 things that she will eat. Potato chips. And even that is just in moderation, just to get the salt. Crackers. She loves especially saltine crackers. That's her thing. And then the other thing that she likes is snickerdoodles. And it's not cookies, it's snickerdoodles. It's specifically that kind of cookie. And if I dare to get in the kitchen and get all the cookie making stuff out and start making cookies and they're not snickerdoodles, she gets so mad at me. She will give me crusty looks for like 3 days. So we eat a lot of snickerdoodles around here because it's one of the only human treats that she actually will eat. And no, I don't feed my cats lots and lots of human food. It's just their family. So when I'm eating, it feels really weird not to give them just a little bit of whatever I'm eating so that, you know, they don't feel like I'm shunning them from my pride. Or I'm a pushover. That's entirely possible. Too, but that's how we roll around here. They get little bits because I can't say no. So that is my experience with Earthborn holistic cat food. They do also make dog food. I can't say anything about that because I have no experience with feeding that, but if you're gonna feed something that's got some grain in it, this is a pretty good option. So I feel really good about this, especially since Little Miss Thing over here really prefers this, and as long as she doesn't develop more food allergies, I'm gonna leave things as they are for now. Oh, and Earthborn also makes a range of wet food options, and they have, I think, 7 flavors. Don't quote me on that, but they have more flavor options in the wet food than they do in the grain than the dry food. For right now, for me, I think the only thing that I'm sad about is that it's not organic, but that would add money to the price tag, and that's something I have to consider at this stage in my life. So all in all, I am super happy with these. I've been feeding Earthborn for about a year, maybe a little more than a year now, and the fact that my cats, or the one of them anyway, is not allergically reacting to this stuff makes me really, really grateful for whatever it is they're doing in their ingredients and production. So these guys are gonna need to get fed. All right, you guys ready for food? You guys hungry? Yes. No, see, that's not what we do here. Okay, spilling it is actually optional. Yum, yum, yum. There you go. What do you think? That's my take on this. It may be the product for you, it may not. Anybody familiar with this product? Anybody had any trouble with this product? Anybody know of something that's even better? Let's start a conversation in the comments and talk about that. Does anybody have experience with Earthborn for dogs? That's not an area I'm gonna get much experience in. Thank you for coming and sitting down with me and talking about pet food. What do you think of this product? I'm pretty happy with it. Let me know what solutions that you're finding for feeding your cats healthy and trying to be environmentally responsible as best we can. And until next time, always stay wild.